the city of brotherly love. Tonight, the Pittsburgh Pirates open up a 7-game road trip. It's the first of 4 against their cross-state rivals, the Philadelphia Phillies, who, as expected, are struggling in the National League East. Meanwhile, the Pirates feeling better about themselves, having won the last 2 games against the St. Louis Cardinals. They've now won 3 of their last 4 ball games. And Bob, now in the middle of it all, Jung-Ho Kang. He got the home run that put them on top yesterday early and the game-winning RBI late.
Well, you know, everybody's been asking questions about Jung-Ho really from the beginning of the season. The first question was, is he going to be able to hit enough to stay up here? Is he going to have to go to the minor leagues and get some at-bats, all that stuff? Now the questions are like, how long before he's hitting cleanup? I mean, that's the way he has really come on. He's just gaining more and more confidence every day he gets out there and plays. You know, who knows what he might be capable of.
He'll make his 3rd straight start at third base tonight, and he'll start for the 6th time in the last 8 Pirate games. Meanwhile, Garrett Cole didn't pitch great last time against the Cincinnati Reds. He's on the mound tonight against the Phillies.
Well, I really think he's going to dominate tonight. He was so good in April. He's going to set up that great slider of his with that hard upstairs fastball, about 98 miles an hour, and the Phillies aren't going to have a chance tonight.
Oh, man, big time prediction from Bob Walk. Mark it down. Pirates and the Phillies coming your way from Philadelphia. We'll see if those bats continue to shine. Jordy Mercer, along with Starling Marte, Neil Walker, and the rest of the Buccos getting ready to take on the Phillies next.
Brought to you by Toyota. Toyota helps you get the most out of your drive. Just ask a friend who drives one. Toyota, let's go places. By Barrel Automotive, we're driven to be better. And by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you. Let's go Bucks.
Now, Pirates and Phillies, first of 4. Pirates making their first and only trip into Philadelphia this season. Jerome Williams, the veteran right-hander, making his 7th start of the year for Philadelphia. .518 earned run average. Pirates will go to Chicago over the weekend for 3 against the Chicago Cubs. Let's check out tonight's starting lineup, brought to you by Toyota. Gregory Polanco leads things off. He'll be followed by Neil Walker and Andrew McCutchen. Starling Marte once again hitting cleanup. Pedro Alvarez hitting fifth. Jung Ho Kang batted second yesterday. Got to be in the lineup, right? Hitting .462 over his last 8 games. Jordy Mercer, Chris Stewart, and Garrett Cole.
Take a look at the numbers for Jerome Williams on the season. This will be his 7th start. ERA up there too high at over 5. Throws a lot of cut fastballs. Between the cutter and the fastball, those 2 pitches, you pretty much know what you're going to get from him. Pirates have had success against him in the past. And Greg, I think on paper this game really looks like it's a good one for the Bucks, but you still got to play them.
Check out the Honda defense for the Phillies. There's Ryan Howard, of course, at first base. He and Chase Utley have anchored that right side of the infield for years. Freddie Galvis is now at shortstop. Jimmy Rollins gone. Kodiashi at third. Ben Revere, Odubel Herrera in center, and Grady Sizemore in the outfield with Carlos Ruiz doing the catching. Nice night for baseball here in Eastern PA.
Very warm. Beautiful, like a midsummer evening.
Yeah. Pirate bats seem to be heating up. Polanco right away. It's a 1-hopper and fielded cleanly by Galvis. If there was any trouble at all, that would have been a base hit on that hop, but this ball game starts 1 pitch, 1 out.
And most times a shortstop, too, after they get a 1-hopper like that, now they'll take their time, a little bit of a crow hop, get off good throw. But Galvis knew who was going down the line, picked the 1-hopper, and then threw across flat-footed. Just got rid of the ball real quick.
A stretch on the other end by Ryan Howard. Here is Neil Walker. He's got a 5-game hitting streak going and a .287 average for the season. And a strike. Seventh start his career against Pittsburgh for the well-traveled Jerome Williams. 1 ball, 1 strike. Last time out against the Atlanta Braves, he gave up 6 runs in 4 1/3 innings on 8 hits. Phillies lost that game 7-5. And Walker, which happens on quite a few occasions, hit by a pitch.
Well, I think if there's a right-hander on the mound that has a cut fastball, Walker's going to get hit. The reason you throw a cutter is you try to get that ball in on the lefties. And if you're going to do that on Walker, he's not going to back out of the way. He's not going to jump back. He's just going to turn his back to you and let the ball take him in the hip and go to first.
Well, he is hit for the 5th time this season. Now Andrew McCutchen, who has himself a 5-game hitting streak. So any of the games over the weekend against the Cardinals, you could tell Andrew McCutchen feeling a whole lot better. Frisky.
Playful.
Very playful yesterday.
He's having fun.
0-1 on Andrew McCutchen. McCutchen 3 for 6 with a pair of home runs lifetime against Jerome Williams.
A little over anxious. He's chased 2 balls down out of the strike zone in a row.
Williams was picked up off of waivers from the Rangers August of last year, and then the Phillies re-signed him. And that gets McCutchen in some pain. 0-2. Williams is 33 years old, Honolulu, Hawaii native. Parents moved from New York to Hawaii. He grew up in Hawaii and was drafted back in 1999, a first rounder with the San Francisco Giants. And he strikes out McCutchen
without throwing the strike.
That is over anxious.
He did not throw a single pitch in the strike zone in that at bat. You see the WB Mason strike zone, and all 4 pitches well out of it.
Williams, who hit Walker, now faces Starling Marte. And ball 1. Marte trying to drive the ball here and get Walker around the bases. Rivers Casino tips to win.
It's an easy call here for Marte. He really loves to hit for whatever reason in this ballpark. I guess a lot of guys like hitting in this ballpark. It's a good place to hit. And it's the much trouble as the Phillies have against right-hand pitchers. I got to believe Cole is just going to shut them down. Made that prediction during the open. I'm staying with it all game.
All right, we'll keep bringing it up then.
Yeah.
1 ball, 1 strike.
After every 1, 2, 3 inning he has, you please bring that up.
I will.
Okay. Look, he's ready.
Pirates would like to give him a lead.
Might have something on his hand.
Maybe change your prediction.
We'll have to remember that. We might have to go back to that. Be something bothering him there.
Marte, a .433 career hitter here in Philly.
Very slight breeze kind of blowing out tonight. I am certainly not only looking for that good outing by Cole, but I think the offense should put up a decent number.
Williams has given up 5 homers already. He's pitched in the big leagues with the Giants, Cubs, Nationals. Played independent league ball 2008. Played in the minor leagues for a number of different clubs. Played for the Angels in the big leagues 2011, 2012, part of 2013, Houston. And he strikes out Marte.
I think he might have thrown 2 pitches the entire inning in the strike zone.
Check out the Honda starting lineup for these Phillies. 11 and 21 and Ryan Sandberg, Ben Revere will lead things off. Then it's Freddie Galvis and Chase Utley. Last 4 games, Ryan Howard has heated up. A .417 average with a pair of homers. Grady Sizemore follows. Udubel Herrera next. Then it's Cody Ashe, Carlos Ruiz, and Jerome Williams.
Take a look at our Hyundai starting pitcher numbers. Cole also making his 7th start of the year, but his numbers look pretty darn good. Obviously, they had to be for him to win the pitcher of the month of April. First May start, not quite up to his standards, but that'll change tonight.
Strike is called.
Oh, and for the people at home thought I was exaggerating, we went back and looked in between innings. Williams did throw just 2 strikes the entire inning.
Ground ball right to the shortstop, Mercer. And Revere is a quick out. Check out the Pirates defense. So Jordy Mercer. Go out Revere. Jung Ho Kang at third. Walker and Alvarez on the right side. The outfield, Marte, McCutcheon, and Polanco. And Chris Stewart behind the plate. We're understanding that Clint Hurdle is kind of liking this matchup with Cole and Stewart. We'll have to watch as the season progresses whether this doesn't continue. Inside to Freddie Galvis, hitting .340. Switch hitter. Cole has the deck stacked against him. He'll face left-handed hitters, the first 7 men in this lineup. 1 ball and 1 strike on Freddie Galvis.
Maybe the one bright spot in the Philly universe right now.
Yeah, they trade Jimmy Rollins, and it turns out that Freddie Galvis is the one guy in this lineup that has been hitting consistently this season. Rough go for Ryan Sandberg. His club went 73-89 last year for the 2nd straight season.
Same record now as the Brewers. We've been talking about how bad of a start they've had.
And a fly ball to center. McCutcheon, 2 outs. Cole's earned run average of .227 is 8th lowest in the National League. That 4-1 record, as Bob said, coming off April's Pitcher of the Month award. Dating back to September of last year, he's gone 8-1, a .262 ERA. Chase Utley, one UCLA Bruin to another. Takes ball 1. Utley's career winding down, of course. Cole's is just getting started.
.116 batting average.
36 years old now.
Yeah, I'm sure the Phillies would love to entertain some offers for some of these guys. But when you're hitting .116, it makes it kind of hard to move you.
3-0 the count on Chase Utley. Utley was 1 for 3 yesterday in the Phillies' 7-4 loss to the Mets here. Cole Hamels, another guy that they would like to move, but clubs not only have to take on a substantial contract, but maybe more importantly have to move a lot of young talent to get Hamels. And a 4-pitch walk to Utley. Behind the plate, C.B. Bucknor. Lance Barrett at first. Toby Basner at second, and the crew chief Dale Scott at third. Crew chief over there. There's Ryan Howard. 6 homers, 15 RBIs, and a .222 average. Tonight's Barrel Automotive League leaders stat. The National League leaders in first pitch strike percentage. Cole right up there with Max Scherzer, Matt Harvey, a couple of aces.
There'll always be pretty good names on that list. That's one of the big keys to being successful, is throw strike one. soon as possible. Get ahead. Get that hitter on the defensive as soon as you can. One of the things that Ray tells everybody over and over: throw strike one.
2-1, and Cole continues to kick at the mound.
He's off a little bit with the control. He's trying to keep the fastball inside, and he's just kind of hooking it in there too far. You're right. I think Greg, he's not liking where his plant foot is coming down.
Lined into right field and past the second baseman Walker, playing a shallow right. First and second.
The ball's probably down further than he wants. If that ball is on the same location on the plate, but he elevates it a little bit, that's a real good pitch. But when you drop it down by the knees, then Howard's going to take just a nice little golf swing. It's so easy then to get to the head of the bat to the baseball. Much tougher if it's up a little bit.
Two on. 2 outs here. A quick couple of outs before the 4-pitch walk to Chase Utley. And the base hit by Ryan Howard. Now Grady Sizemore, and he lines it into right field. And the Phillies will take a 1-0 lead. Chase Utley scores from second as Grady Sizemore rips it into right, and going to third, Ryan Howard.
You know, normally you want to work down, but I don't know with all these left-hand hitters if that's exactly what you want to do. You got to bring the ball up, got to elevate that fastball. A lot of times when people ask me about Cole, why is he getting better, getting more strikeouts than when he first came up, one of the things I think I always mention is that he's learned to use that fastball as the power fastball upstairs. That makes it much more effective and opens up the the area downstairs for that hard slider of his. Speeds up the bat. But these last 2 line drive hits have been pretty much where those left-hand hitters like it. There, see, he elevated that one. Herrera couldn't get to it.
It's just the second time this season that Garrett Cole has allowed a run in the first inning. The only other time was his first start of the year, April the 8th in Cincinnati. 0-1. Odubel Herrera, the center fielder. And 0-2.
Elevated the first fastball. He couldn't catch up to it. Then went to the slider.
Sizemore picks up his 4th RBI of the season. Former star with the Cleveland Indians. A bunch of injuries in the last handful of seasons.
You know what really kind of gets you about this inning, and you might even get to Cole when he thinks about it after the inning's over, is 2 quick outs and then a 4-pitch walk to somebody hitting 114. I mean, that was the no-no. Again, the location of his pitches. Did you see the target that Stewart was giving? Mm-hmm. He wanted that ball letter high. Look his target is, and look where it ends up.
Boy, there's
probably a good 3 feet in between the target and where the ball ended up. Slider.
Gets the strikeout. He won't be a bit happy. 1-0 Phillies.
We had to score 1 anyway, didn't we?
Gronkowski. Jerome Williams tonight is pitching the day after Mother's Day, wearing his trademark pink glove, a glove that he wears in honor of his mother, Deborah, who passed away from breast cancer back in 2001. I asked him what it means to wear this glove, and he said it means everything to him as we get a look at the two pink gloves on the bottom, a couple multicolored gloves I'll talk about in a second here. He said not wearing that pink glove is like not wearing underwear under his uniform. He said he always has to have it. It's a meaningful thing to him, and it also shows awareness for breast cancer every time he takes to the mound. Now, as for the other gloves, he has a blue glove, Greg and Bob, that for prostate cancer that he will wear if he ever pitches on Father's Day. As for the other gloves, during BP, he has a purple glove that he wears for pancreatic cancer, a green glove for liver cancer, and a gold glove that he wears for childhood cancer. So talk about a guy remembering his mom each and every time he takes to the mound, as well as others suffering from cancer.
Well, it's a trademark of his. As you say, Robbie, he's had this pink glove for a long time, and if he can, as he said, make some good out of this. Breast cancer awareness, and missing Mother's Day by a day.
It's always Mother's Day for him.
Yeah.
So really a great way to honor his mom, in memory of his mother.
Two balls, two strikes. 3-2 on Alvarez. Alvarez hitting .217.
Now, hopefully this inning, Pirates will make sure that Williams gets in that strike zone. It won't help him out. See what happens here on the full count pitch. Chased. And that ball was out of the strike zone down. What the percentage, Greg, is if you really watched every game every night? Well, they do. And probably could look this up in seconds. Fastballs on 3-2 counts. I mean, even in the second inning of a 1-0 ball game with nobody on base, you can't even get a 3-2 fastball.
We've talked about that for a lot the last couple of weeks.
It's not just this year. This has been going on for a long time, but But
it continues to the point over the years where fastballs it's so rare anymore. Vance Worley, the former Philly. Chung-Ho Kang. His third straight start at third base. He started 6 of the last 8 Pirates games. It's this well toward right center field. He barreled that ball.
Yes, he did.
A gapper, and it settles there at the base of the wall. Kang into second base with a 1-out double.
He got a strike, didn't chase, and then he hit it toward the direction of where the strike was, which was on the outside corner. Doesn't get out and pull it. Look at that. Just hammers it up the opposite field gap. Beautiful hitting. Nice big leg kick. I think they like that leg kick. Not only does he pick it up, he kind of swings it back toward the catcher a little bit.
That was the 2-1 pitch, and that was a big topic in Clint Hurdle's office today. Kang, his playing opportunities, that leg kick.
He's got 1 home run with the leg kick and 1 home run without it.
Asked Clint Hurdle about when he decides to use the leg kick, because the Pirates have been trying to, since spring training, having to cut it back, almost eliminate it with 2 strikes. But there are times that Kang decides, even with 2 strikes, he's going to use the leg kick. And as Clint Hurdle said, he's a bit of a gambler, and I like that. Jordy Mercer with Kang at second, a chance to tie the game right away.
Well, I think you got to be a little careful to, the change guys that are having success. Let them go. It's not like you can look back through the history of baseball and find guys with leg kicks that absolutely hit the heck out of baseball for a long time. So there's nothing that says you can't do it.
Matt Holliday still uses it, and the The Josh Hamilton discussion came up a lot today as well. Two balls and one strike to count. Hamilton, of course, had a big leg kick for a while, and then when Clint Hurdle was there that summer, eliminated it. Now it's back, or it was back anyway before Hamilton got suspended. 2 balls and a strike. And 2-2. See what Mercer's approach will be. 2 strikes. Josh Harrison not playing. Not tonight anyway. A bouncer. Ashe to first. 2 outs. Runner holds at second. And it will bring up Chris Stewart. Gong at second. And Stewart needing to bring him home now with 2 outs. Josh Hamilton, by the way, who ended up not being suspended but let go and traded from the Angels to the Texas Rangers. We hear that he may end up playing in the next week or so with Texas. Chris Stewart.
Is he on like a rehab assignment right now? I thought I saw that when we were having dinner up on the screen. I think he faced Barry Zito today.
That's right, yeah. That was weird, isn't it? In a minor league game, Barry Zito against Josh Hamilton.
I saw the at bat. He hit a little dunker for a base hit in the left.
Chris Stewart, little 4-game hitting streak.
Crispin hit the ball pretty well. Yeah. Having a lot of quality at bats.
He's 8 for 28. That's a .286 average, and he has 5 RBIs, 8 hits and 5 ribbies, making them count. Roller to Galvis. Stewart is retired. Pirates strand a man. Jung Ho Kang doubled with 1 out. It is 1-0 Philadelphia. Injury update. It involves tomorrow night's starter for the Phils. Sean O'Sullivan has been on the DL, left knee tendonitis since mid-April. Had a rehab start Thursday, gave up a run on 5 hits, and he will start tomorrow night. He'll have to come off the DL. They'll have to make a corresponding move.
A little red in that beard, huh?
Bob McClure, the pitching coach. Speaking of transactions, Pirates have a different lefty in their bullpen tonight, as Antonio Bastardo went on a paternity leave, so Bobby LaFramboise up from AAA Indianapolis. Here's LaFramboise there. Robbie Itzmakowski told us that he lost like
18 pounds in a week.
18 pounds in a week because of strep throat.
Yeah. That's a lot of weight to lose in 1/8.
Is that right, Robbie? Oh,
Robbie?
We'll get to Robbie.
Hello?
He's around here somewhere. There's a ground ball and a seeing eye single. Even though Walker was able to make the stop, didn't have a play at first. Like he couldn't get the ball out of his glove anyway. Cody Ashe, who snapped an 0 for 23 hitless string with a double yesterday, gets the infield hit here.
Just hit it in a good spot.
And now we'll go downstairs to Robbie.
Yeah, Bobby LaFramboise, I asked him how he's doing. He said, I'm better now. Evidently, he's only been good for about a couple days. He dealt with strep throat for about the last week. He lost 18 pounds because he had no desire to eat anything. He said he spent a lot of days just, through testing trying to figure out what it was. Turns out, luckily, it was just strep throat. He got through it. He feels just fine now, but he lost a bunch of weight.
I'll say. All fouled out of play in a week.
I'm going to let him use my coffee cup. Sounds like a good diet to me.
Whatever works.
I would like to drop 18.
We saw Bobby LaFramboise at the end of last season. They sent Cody Ashe on that pitch. Ruiz fouled it off. They didn't want Ruiz to hit into a double play. That's why they had sent him in the first pitch. But he hits into a 6-3 double play on the second pitch. And 2 outs. I think we've got our Chick-fil-A double play here. Bob, can you break this one down for us?
It's a nice, firm 3-hopper, and it's a leading Mercer right to the bag. And then he flips it over to Pedro. That's just as easy as making a chicken sandwich.
I thought you might be able to illustrate that for us. There's a drive to center field by Jerome Williams, but right there is Andrew McCutchen. We'll wait for the telestrator as we go to the 3rd inning.
By the Chevy Malibu and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go Bucks!
1-0 Phillies. Head to the third. Garrett Cole will be leading things off. Bob, let's if we can ask you again to go back and telestrate for us this double play.
Greg. Now watch, Ruiz is going to hit the ball this direction. Mercer's going to run that way, and then he's going to throw this way. Now watch. There it goes. Now remember which way I did the arrows. See that?
Yeah,
now he's running, throwing, double play. Just like I telestrated.
It's fantastic.
Yep.
Good stuff.
What did that guy have in his hat there?
Like the tickets for tonight's game.
Stuck in his hat?
Well, he didn't want to lose them.
No, well, they'll never fall out there.
Well, I think if they fall
right
out.
There,
Where are the tickets, though? You circled his head.
Oh, here.
Where are the tickets?
They're right there.
There they are. If they fall out, he'll know. He's got no peripheral vision to his right.
It's like blinders on a racehorse.
One and two on Cole. He has 3 hits and 13 at bats.
So I get the arrow, the spot, the circle.
What are we going to get in next? A tapper toward Galvis. Easily retires Cole. And he's not happy with that either.
No, never. Unless he hits a gap shot somewhere. Even when he hits singles, he gets the first, he looks like he's upset. He wants a double or more.
He is certainly a member of our Ban the DH team. Chad Billingsley joined it yesterday, by the way. Billingsley hit a home run. Go ahead.
Did he? He must just go crazy for the 4 days he's not playing. He has to sit on the bench.
Yeah, because he wants to be in there.
Yeah.
Pirate pitchers are hitting 153 this year. That's second in the league behind the Colorado Rockies.
And they were so horrible at it last year, except for Cole. Yeah. And they really did work very hard on it in spring training to try and get better at it, and not just the hitting, but everything, getting bunts down, that sort of thing. It was just a really spot last year that they couldn't do it.
Yeah, it absolutely had a lot of work into it. Polanco had a one-hopper to the shortstop Galvis. The first pitch he saw from Jerome Williams. As Bob mentioned, the Pirates saw just 2 strikes in that first inning. Did not have a great approach. See if this second time around is a little bit better against this veteran right-hander. Lefty's hitting .373 against him. Right-handed batters .303. Played for 3 different teams last year. Oh, Polanco tosses the bat aside as C.B. Buckner calls it a strike.
Well, the count's right because the previous pitch was a strike and he called it a ball. So, see, the previous pitch was up there, number 4.
So it's just evened out.
So, yeah, now it's even. Count's right.
Now, after you do that, Bob, do you think you have to swing at anything close?
3-2 fastball. Nope. There you saw. I guess that's why you don't throw 3-2 fastballs.
1-out walk to Polanco.
You see how bad he missed with that fastball?
Right.
The whole reason for throwing a fastball is because that's supposed to be the pitch you can throw for a strike, at the best chance to throw a strike. And he missed so badly, you might as well throw a curveball or whatever. But I think what really illustrated there when we showed the strike zone, you could see how Williams is really all around, and he is not going at these hitters. He's trying to get them to hit his pitches. Something a little in, a little out, that sort of thing.
Ball popped up to left. 2 outs.
That looked like a decent pitch to hit.
Well, it's not too late to get on board with Bucko Baseball. Become a season ticket member. Personalize your membership with the games and the benefits that fit you. You get access to postseason tickets, special events, exclusive communications. Be a part of the team. The best seats, best pricing reserved for Pirates season ticket members. Call 1-800-5BUCKS or visit pirates.com/membership for more information. Pirates return to PNC Park 1 week from tomorrow. Andrew McCutchen struck out his first time and takes a strike. Next on the home schedule for the Bucks, they'll play the Twins Interleague Series a week from tomorrow, 2 games, and then the Mets. A 1 count on Andrew McCutchen. There goes Polanco. And he's going to be in there as the ball dribbles away. That's 10 steals for Gregory Polanco in 11 attempts. 12 attempts.
Look how he doesn't even think about looking back. And I'm going to say it again. I said this the other day. I just love the way he slides in hard and late, feet first. That's got to just really irritate the middle infielders trying to catch those balls, especially when they're down the dirt like that. You know, those cleats are coming in like that, right down where they're trying to make a play on a baseball.
I know you've talked about that even before Polanco's arrival. Just in general, base runners, why they don't do that more often, because there are other benefits to that feet first slide, right?
Oh yeah, you can see with Polanco, and most of the time you're to your feet, and now you can move up if you get an opportunity. A lot harder if you're laying on your stomach. And how many times do we see guys go with some trick slide, whether it's just, you know, on their stomach or whatever, and they go past the bag? They're going to be safe, and then they go across the bag. Look at that, late, hard. Yeah, I mean, you see, Utley wanted no part of trying to get to that ball. The guys coming in head first. I've even seen infielders, you know, drop a leg down like a catcher, you know, trying to block them off the base if they know they're coming with their hands. You got that oven mitt coming in there. You're not afraid of that.
3-1 on McCutchen. Pick your poison here. First base is open, but Marte is on deck. McCutchen see a strike on this 3-1 pitch. No.
He's only seen 1 strike so far in 2 at bats. 1 pitch to hit.
Well, Williams has been around a long time in the big leagues, but this is just really his 7th start. 1 start last year against the Pirates. He's 1-4 in his career with a .437 ERA. Marte is 0-for-6 lifetime against Jerome Williams.
Getting vigorous there, Greg. I like it. Get the Partey going there.
Struck out in the first.
Don't be pull happy.
Talking baseball on the bench there. Sean Rodriguez, Corey Hart, Josh Harrison there, Steve Lombardozzi standing behind them. And now 0-2 the count on Starling Marte. Two walks in the inning. Jerome Williams, a pretty good job with the control for the first 6 starts coming into this game. Had allowed 1 walk or no walks in 5 of his 6 starts. And Marte is hit by the pitch.
That's foul ball.
Foul ball.
Same thing. Ooh, I think maybe you were right, Greg.
No, I don't think so. I think it scared him more than anything.
What did it hit? The knob?
I think so. See why Marte gets hit so often on that hand.
He just leaves him right there.
Yeah.
He really needs to have a lot of protection inside that glove for that hand.
Yeah, it's a piece of it. A big cut by Marte.
Staying alive. It's good party swing. He does have a little pad on that elbow of his. That's another spot he takes a lot of pitches. But they try to always tie him up and in. They try to throw those fastballs. Why he gets hit.
This will be the 22nd pitch of the inning for Jerome Williams. 6th pitch to Marte coming up. He drives it deep to left center field. We are going to have a Marte parte. It is 3-1 Pittsburgh. Number 8 for Starling Marte.
This is what happens when you can be a little bit patient and maybe foul off some tough pitches and try to wait till you get one that's really in the strike zone in a real solid way, and that's what he did. And he was able to stay back a little bit. He didn't get out real early on this off-speed pitch. Stayed back and was able to hit it to the left center field gap. His first couple swings of the at bat, he was happy. He's pulling those off-speed pitches over toward the Pirate dugout.
Eight home runs.
And how about the RBIs he's starting to rack up?
24 RBIs now in the season.
Looking more and more like a cleanup hitter that can steal bases.
Yeah. Already in the top 10 in RBIs in the National League. Alvarez, a fly ball to left. Revere for the out. Marte fouling those pitches off. Fouled that pitch off the knob of the bat and then homered. David Ortiz lent guidance to fellow countryman Gregory Polanco. Hit the links with John Holtzcomb and much more inside Pirates baseball, presented by Allegheny Health Network tonight after postgame on Root Sports. Rooting for John Holtzcomb. We learned today that he has been shut down with shoulder fatigue. And Starling Marte, the 1-2 pitch, hit it over the wall, some 405 feet. And now Garrett Cole has the lead. Ball 1 to Ben Revere. Ball 2. Cracked right at McCutcheon. He barely has to move.
Do you see the look on his face?
Yep.
Oh, he has been enjoying himself immensely these last 3 or 4 games. The look on his face after he threw the ball in. Oh boy. It's such a long year. You got to have fun out there. And he certainly does. He was keeping the whole dugout loose yesterday.
Just feel like, who knows whether it's the turning point, because we always seem to discuss this when there are either closed-door team meetings or fights or just a moment in time in a game as Cole strikes out. The next batter he faces Galvis. But did you get a different feeling about the club after his post-game comments the other night? It was like he decided to just take everything like a lightning rod, take all the responsibility upon himself.
The thing that I really thought about, and I don't know, maybe I listened to it in a different way. I heard it as I was driving in, listening to the radio the next day. And now I'm thinking to myself, what can I do in my job
to be better?
Yeah. And live up to what the example he's setting out there in center field. And I don't even have anything to do with what's going on in the field. And I'll bet you everybody in the organization felt like that. And certainly the guys in that clubhouse have to feel like that. Even the guys that were having a pretty good start. Like, for instance, Neil Walker, who's off to a pretty good start. He's been really consistent with the bat through everything. He's listening to this and probably thinking the same thing. Okay, I'm doing well, but I can do better. And that essentially is just the leadership skill that, and here's another thing, too. But I don't think that it had anything to do with Kutch thinking about, I'm a leader, I got to say this.
No.
That was him being him. It's just natural.
I think he felt at the time I have to do this. Yeah. He just felt I'm going to open up. He was after the game. Robbie and some other cameras were down there right in front of his locker, and he sat there and he took question after question after question, and he just opened up.
Yep.
And it was like the weight of the world, in essence, was lifted off this team to a degree.
Off everybody. Yep.
Yeah. Strike 3 called. Well, fly out to center, a couple of strikeouts, and Chase Utley not thrilled with C.V. Buckner. Day automotive this day in Pirates history, and what a day this was in 1977. The Pirates beat the Braves 2-1. It extends the Braves losing streak and extends the Pirates winning streak. John Candelaria allowed just one unearned run in 8 2/3 innings. Dave Parker 2 for 3 home run. His hitting streak went to 22 at that point. The Braves lost their 17th in a row. Ted Turner, the owner, was in the dugout that night. Next day, Commissioner Bowie Kuhn ruled that anyone that owned stock in a team was forbidden from managing it. Ball one on Jung Ho Kang.
I think Ted's original TV station in Atlanta was Channel 17. So I'm thinking maybe he saw that as a sign that he should, 17 in a row, I should manage this game. It's possible.
Maybe. Jim Roddy, former county executive, Allegheny County executive, said that, and he was longtime buddies with Ted Turner, so that Ted Turner actually called him during this losing streak and asked if he would manage the team. And Jim Roddy said, I don't think that's a very good idea. So Ted Turner says, I'll manage. It seems like, though, if you own a team, why shouldn't you be allowed to manage it? Right?
No, and they just from what you said, it's like they made up a rule on the fly.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't really a rule.
Well, that's what Ted Turner joked about later. Not even a joke. The next day, he said, I guess they just made that rule up.
I guess they did.
Here's Jordy Mercer. Gong is retired in the comebacker. Mercer bounced out his first time up. And it's a high fly ball to left field. Going back is Revere, and he's going to have room. 2 outs. Mercer had an RBI yesterday with a hard infield single, had 3 RBIs the night before. Even though his average is under the Mendoza line. Productive the previous 2 games. Strike one on Stewart. He bounced out to short his first at bat. Francisco Cervelli started 3 straight games, and for the first time started a day game after a night game. And Clint Hurdle said, we've got to try and do that every once in a while. And again, it set up the situation here to have Stewart catching Cole. Protect mode there, fouls it off, stays 0-2 on the veteran catcher, Chris Stewart. Cole would like a shot, he's on deck. Starling Marte's 3-run homer, giving the Bucks this lead. "33-year-old Chris Stewart. His second year with the Pirates. He, like Jerome Williams, has played for several clubs. And lines this toward left field. Chris Stewart's going to have himself extra bases. A 2-out double.
Able to turn on a pitch up and in.
He's a real pro, Chris Stewart.
Out there having a conversation with another one. Utley. Stewart said the other day when asked about always having to get ready to go in and face a team, with the scouting reports for the pitchers and all that stuff, even if you think you're probably not ever going to get a chance to play against a team. And that's exactly what the scenario was against the Cardinals. It's the job of that backup catcher, one of the tough things.
So he's got to go over these reports, knowing full well he's got little chance of playing.
Yeah. No, but
in case
he has to prepare like he's the starting catcher, because he could be just a pitch away from going in and having to do everything the starting catcher does. So it's kind of a tough thing mentally, I would think. But he said that he's kind of a nerd about that stuff. He enjoys the scouting reports. Really, he loves going through them and reading them. So for him, he said it's easy because it's something that I like to do.
Cole hits a hard ground ball, but Galvis is there. And he is retired for the second straight time, 6-3. Half the fourth inning. I want to thank Rob King, by the way, for that game break. 3-1 here. That Brewers lead of 5-0. Jeff Samardzija giving up 5 runs already, 4 earned in 3 innings. That interleague game, Willie Peralta on the mound for Milwaukee. Limited action. The Cardinals are off today. They'll begin an interleague series themselves against the Indians tomorrow in Cleveland. Well, Garrett Cole had a 1-2-3 third. Gave up the run in the first inning. He walked a man and then gave up back-to-back singles. Howard had a line single past Neil Walker his first time up, moving Chase Utley, who had walked with 2 outs, to second. Fly ball. McCutchen. Well, that's the first out. McCutchen has 4 putouts already. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, celebrating 13 years. Watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in True HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more every night on every device. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details.
If you're a Pirate fan, you live in Philly, that's what you need.
Yep. And there are a bunch of Pirate fans this side of the state.
What was it now? About 5-6 years ago. And the Phillies were really kind of playing well, doing great. And when they would come to Pittsburgh, it was like the folks in the red T-shirts would take over the town for 3 days.
Now Philadelphia's starting to get that feeling. All this black and gold in Philadelphia. Easy for Walker on the Sizemore bouncer. Cole trying to get on a bit of a roll here.
He's liking the quick out, not having to throw a lot of pitches. That was a case of a hitter trying to pull that pitch away.
Odubel Herrera struck out to end the first. A Rule 5 pick from the Texas Rangers. 23 years old. He had played Double-A parts of the last couple seasons. Never played above Double-A, and here he is in the big leagues and holding his own.
Yeah, not too bad. Especially if you compare him to the rest of his teammates who aren't doing very well at all. A 265 average looks pretty good.
This deep but foul.
You talk about a leg kick. How about his?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, he starts so almost with his right foot practically out of the box behind him.
See if he cuts it back at all in 2 strikes.
And then he lifts away. I mean, he's got a leg kick like he's a pitcher. Brings that knee up to his belt buckle. As he starts, look how far away. And here comes the leg kick.
And there he goes.
Walk back.
Pick up the leg.
Another elevated fastball.
Down, walk back.
Love those elevated fastballs.
Tuesday here on Root Sports. Take out your phones and your iPads and tweet us your questions using the hashtag BucksTuesday. The guest tomorrow night is a quiet reliever, Rob Scahill, right there. We don't know a lot about him, but the guy's been fantastic. He's given up just 1 run in over 13 innings, 11 appearances, 13 innings of work on the season. So let's get to know him a little bit. He's from Chicago. He's got a Blackhawks jersey. It's actually in his locker here. He's a huge hockey fan and a huge Blackhawks fan, huge Bulls fan. So all his teams are doing well in the playoffs right now. And got to get to know him a little bit. Played a little bit in the Rockies organization. And Greg and Bob this year having his best year in the big leagues, being a solid contributor out of the pens.
Here, Rob, you're going to say all those teams he likes doing well. He himself doing very well. Quietly, Rob Scahill.
By far has the best percentage of getting ground balls out of that bullpen, which kind of surprised me. I was looking at Hughes the other night, and Scahill is getting like almost 70% of the balls put in play are on the ground. So it's a great job.
This one on the ground to Galvis, retires Polanco.
The Blackhawks are doing well. Bulls are doing well.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got the Bears to do. Too bad.
They'll get there. Bleachers open tonight at Wrigley, the left field bleachers. And center field. We'll see that this weekend.
The bleachers.
Right field still closed, but left and center open. Walker hitting this ball the other way and headed toward the seats. The Cubs are taking on the Mets tonight. John Lester against Jacob deGrom. The Cubs have fallen on hard times lately. On May the 1st, they were 13-8. They have lost 8 of their last 11.
Keeps going like that, they're going to move their pitcher to the 9th spot. They have to do something radical.
Russell Bryant hit another home run tonight.
Really?
Yeah.
Just had to break the seal, was all.
Mm-hmm. Also known as Chris Bryant. Addison Russell is batting ninth tonight.
I threw you off.
Yeah, you
that's
did.
What this is my fault.
No, I know it was.
See, that's what I would have said. So I was just trying to give you an out.
So he's still, Joe Maddon still bats as pitcher 8th. John Lester tonight. There's a fly ball toward right field.
Maybe.
Brady Sizemore is back, and it's off the wall. Revere is right there, so Neil Walker has a stand-up double.
Wow, he went down and got that one out of the dirt.
Did.
Man, that ball might have bounced if he hadn't hit it. And he almost hit it out of the ballpark, right off the very top.
A one-out double for Neil Walker. He's on base for the second time, his 9th double this season. See what they do here. They worked around McCutchen.
Got to add to the lead.
And then Marte homered last time. McCutchen homered off of Jerome Williams here last year. A 6-3 Pirates victory.
When everyone kind of gets to hitting what way they're capable of in this lineup, there's going to be a lot of places where you have to make that kind of decision. Like, well, what are we going to do? You know, there's a base open, but do we use it? If you look at it right now, Marte kills these guys in this ballpark. He's already got a 3-run homer tonight. And you look at his numbers on the season, he's looking like a legit cleanup hitter. So maybe even though McCutchen, you know, is the star, the ex-MVP of the team, maybe you do pitch to him. There's not an MVP-like swing on that one.
One pitch in the strike zone so far in this at bat.
They're certainly not really giving him much to hit.
See the pitch count now at 80 for Jerome Williams. Four hits for the Pirates. McCutchen has struck out and walked. In case you're wondering, Garrett Cole has thrown 46 pitches. And here Williams about ready to throw his 81st with one out. Similar to the very last pitch, but this time McCutchen doesn't offer.
It's like kind of like Kutch wants to hit so bad that he's just almost swinging at anything he thinks he can reach at times tonight. He does not want the base on balls. He wants to hit.
Again, same exact pitch.
Same pitch. This time he gave it a run.
He took it the last time.
See the number 5. And there it is, covered up almost exactly with the 6 pitch.
Two and two. It looks going to call third strike. Yellowwood bringing the lumber. Andrew McCutcheon, after he had walked in the third, Starling Marte homers on a 1-2 pitch. Number 8 for Marte. Yellowwood bringing the lumber. Four strikeouts for Jerome Williams. And now this will be interesting. See how they pitch to Marte.
Almost like they don't want to. Taking forever to throw the first one.
Eight home runs, 24 RBIs on the season for Marte. Point Park University tweets crawling across your screen about that home run. The RBI leaders coming into tonight, by the way, Giancarlo Stanton and Adrian Gonzalez with 29. And now Marte with 24. And lines this one to right. That'll do it. Walker doubled off the wall in right center. Pirates lead 3-1.
Network. Health for All. By Kenny Ross, Ask a Neighbor. And by Levin Mattress, located in all Levin furniture showrooms and freestanding stores. Let's go Bucks!
First pitch to Cody Ashe is low, ball 1. Cole has thrown first pitches to 9 of the first 16 batters he's faced. Bottom third of the order. And the other way. Marte thought about coming in to make a play. A leadoff single. Cole had retired 8 straight since the Ashe infield hit in the second. He got Carlos Ruiz to bounce into that double play. You'll remember Bob Walk diagrammed it for us, broke it down. The first pitch to Ruiz, the Phillies sent Ashe, but Ruiz fouled it off. Second pitch, they did not, and Ruiz hit it right to the shortstop for a routine double play. Ball 1. We praised Cole for those first pitch strikes. They're not getting as many first pitch strikes tonight as he would like.
You can see him tapping his leg as he got that last pitch back. He's a little frustrated. Even though things seem to be going okay for him tonight, he's got the 2-run lead. His pitch count well under control in the 5th inning here. He's still not consistently throwing the ball where he wants to tonight.
Misses 2-1. Saw Justin DeFreitas getting up in the Philly bullpen, so they're going to be pinch hitting Andres Blanco on deck.
Good hit run count here if they're still thinking that way.
Not going, and it's off to the right, out of play. An SLB patch is for a minority owner who passed away August of last year. Sarah Sally Buck. And quite a few minority owners. In fact, it's the 3rd patch they've worn since 2011. And yes, he offered, says the home plate umpire, C.B. Buckner. 5 strikeouts.
Check swing on that hard breaking ball. I mean, that's, tells you a little bit about just kind of stuff that Cole has. He's not real happy with the way everything's going out there. You can tell by his mannerisms. Just not really the best command that he could have for sure. But it doesn't seem to really matter at times because he's got such great stuff. Once he gets to 2 strikes, he can throw that wipeout breaking ball, get the check swing.
"24 years old, Garrett Cole facing the pinch hitter, Andres Blanco."
Why, on the days where he really does have that good command, that he can be almost untouchable at times.
Right.
You mix the command with the type of stuff he has.
Fly ball to McCutchen again. He's been busy out there. Not that he's had to sprint anywhere. It's been routine fly balls for the most part. But he keeps up
it's where you want
the pattern.
You want the fly balls hit to the center.
Each of the 5 innings, Andrew McCutchen has made 1 putout.
Keep him away from the corners.
Ben Revere lined out to McCutchen in the 3rd inning.
Kutch has to like that. It must be so nerve-wracking for an outfielder if he's not getting any action inning after inning after inning. Just to stand out there.
Starling Marte. Not a lot of action. There's the leadoff hit to left.
You got to practice your stances.
Yeah. There's strike one on Ben Revere.
You know, if you're in the infield, Greg, and you're not getting action, it still seems like
you're part of the action.
Yeah, you're part. You're so close to everything. Even if you haven't gotten a ground ball in 3 innings, it doesn't matter. You're right there where everything's happening.
Cole out in front of Ben Revere now. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
There's times when you're standing out there on the mound, and things aren't going good, and you just say to yourself, I wish I was an outfielder. You just stand out there and you just look out there. You're so jealous. Pedro would have a nice take on this conversation.
Oh yeah.
Well, what's the differences in the things that he has to do from third to first? Talk about being involved in almost everything at first. Always something going on. It's like being a catcher, but you're not getting beat up all game. Those guys, a lot of bruises every night.
You were talking to Stewart the other day. You were talking about him being a taller catcher than we're used to seeing in the big leagues. That was an interesting question, an interesting answer about how he's still nimble. A lot of tall catchers can't get down as well as he can, to be honest with you. Runner goes, and it's bounced to second, and on to first. Pick up that conversation when we come back onto the 6th inning. 3-1. What do you think, Bob? Giving him a little pep talk, or?
You know, I'm not sure what that could be about. I can't really tell. Nobody's giving anything away with their, like doing something with their body as far as mechanics. But I'm wondering if that could be what it is. That there's something that Ray sees about the delivery that he's not really liking. You know, we've been talking about how it's not, even though he's putting up zeros except for the 1 run in the first inning, he's being very efficient. He's still not putting, it seems to, the command seems to kind of come and go from hitter to hitter with him. So I think they're probably looking for some consistency in that mechanics. It's not there. And Ray is very good with that. And that's one of the, we talked about throwing strike one is one of his pet peeves that he really likes to talk about all the time. Another one is being able to duplicate your delivery mechanically over and over and over again. And that probably was what that was about.
The numbers for Justin DeFreitas, the new pitcher who got Alvarez to bounce to the shortstop.
Make sure he throws strikes. Look at that, 9 walks. Ray didn't look like he was smiling.
No.
Ray very seldom is not happy-go-lucky. I mean, he's always got a kind word and a smile on his face.
Gong doubled to right center field his first time up against Williams. Last time up, hit one back to the mound. And 1-2.
Now he'll go to the no leg kick.
Maybe.
No, he will.
All right.
Bet you a Gatorade after the game.
Nope. Not going to take the bet. Yeah, I will. He won't. No leg kick. He won't.
His toe will stay on the ground.
No. Leg kick coming.
Nope. Oh, he hit him. Did it hit him?
It did hit him. Yeah. You were laughing.
If he would have kicked his leg, if he would have picked his leg up, I would have missed him. But he left his leg on the ground. You owe me a Gatorade. Oh, right on the back of where you can see if he would have been in his kick, would have got hit. But I knew with 2 strikes he wouldn't do it. By the way, I like my Gatorade to be 12 years old.
Almost didn't get that. Mercer has grounded out and flied to left. Just 4 hits for each club, but the Pirates have had action in each of the 6 innings. At least a base runner.
You get that uneasy feeling that you got to add on. We talk about that a lot. I talk about that a lot, but it is true. One of the things I hated sitting in that dugout was scoring the first few innings of a ball game and then trying to make that stand up the whole way. Got to add on.
Jordy Mercer, 364 batting average lifetime against these Phillies coming in. That one by him upstairs. Second out. Host your next special event at PNC Park. Perfect for corporate outings, weddings, bar and bat mitzvahs, and more. Catering options available in the Lexus Club, the Pittsburgh Baseball Club, or the Rivertown Brewing Hall of Fame Club. For more information, call 1-800-5-BUCKS or go to pirates.com/PNC Park events. Now Chris Stewart. Stewart had a 2-out double in the 4th. All 4 Pirate hits have been extra base hits. The Marte homer and doubles by Stewart, Neil Walker, and Jung Ho Gong.
What we need now, that one right down that left field line, get the corner.
Stewart still looking for his first Pirate home run. He jokes about that. His 40 hits last year, 5 went for doubles, but no homers. Hit 4 homers as a Yankee 2 years ago. Somebody yelled something from the field.
Step off. That's what they must have yelled. And Jung Ho takes a little step off.
Puts on the brakes. And a fly ball to left. Long run, but Revere gets there. Let's leave a man to the bottom of the 6th. 3-1 Pirates.
Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Just a reminder, as you enjoy Cold One, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Here in Philly, our UPMC scoreboard shows you the Pirates leading the Philadelphia Phillies 3-1 in the first of 4 games. Pirates were 6-1 last year against the Phils and have won 10 of the last 14 games played against their cross-state rivals. Garrett Cole faces Freddie Galvis, who has flied out and struck out. And ball 1. Cole's 7th start of the season, looking to go 5-1. Two and two. Galvis came in batting .340. Injuries last year limited him to 43 games last season. Hit just a $176. Oh, he fully expected to be rung up there. His reaction, but
that was a great pitch.
Yeah,
a perfect spot. As soon as I saw Stewart set up inside, I'm going to make that pitch. There's no way he can handle that after those pitches away. And he made the pitch. He hit the corner, and everything was there. And he didn't get the call.
Galvis's reaction. He was just ready to step back and head to the dugout.
That was going to lock him up. It was the perfect call, and it was and the execution was there. You see those pitches up and away there. He had elevated, gone away. get him looking outside, and then that real hard fastball that comes back to the plate, little tail on it, up and inside corner. There's no way. The best thing he could have done was maybe get a little piece of that, foul it back.
Another foul ball. He's had to throw a couple of extra pitches to Galvis.
Now you're in a 3-2 count. You can't try to make that inside pitch now. You don't want to do that now. You can't start off the inning here with a base on balls. At least you don't want to. So you got to try and take a pretty good chunk of the strike zone. And make him hit his way aboard if he's going to get on.
And he lines it foul toward the seats. Now it stays 3-2 on Galvis. It was 77 degrees at game time. And he walked him.
And not only did not getting that call cost him a few more pitches, now it's also he didn't get it out. Now he's got a base runner to deal with. They turned out to be a pretty big call. Or no call. Stewart out there, maybe it was kind of like a little, okay, we got to turn the page on that. He had him struck out, but it doesn't matter now. You have to buckle down, get refocused. And I really think that's one of the strengths that Cole has also, is that he's good at that. Even though he'll show his emotions on the sleeve, I think when it comes to making the next pitch, it's gone over with, and he can go back to doing what he needs to do.
Right away, he throws a strike to Utley.
With a breaking ball, a little slider.
Walked Utley on 4 pitches in the first. Struck him out looking in the third, though Utley didn't agree.
You got the hitters that gave him a little trouble in that first inning now coming up. This is an important inning.
In on his hands and pops it up. 1 out, he gets Utley.
It's that inside fastball again. This one he brings in there at 97. Now this one had it all, location and power.
Stewart out to talk to him once again. Bob, we cut you off there that third out last inning about Stewart, your conversation with him about being a tall catcher.
Oh, it was kind of, it was an odd question for me to ask, because the way I asked it, I said, what's it like to be a tall catcher? Like he knows what it's like to not be a tall catcher, you know, and he can compare the two. So after I asked, I thought, well, that's kind of weird. But, you know, he did acknowledge that it's kind of a rarity that most of your catchers are a little bit shorter. And some of them are actually your shorter players that almost kind of like, well, they get the nickname Pudge. You know, that's the kind of guy that is the prototypical catcher. Somebody that's built close to the ground, maybe a little wide, and can block balls. But occasionally you will get that big tall guy. But there's not too many of them. And it's a little tougher. You gotta be flexible, and you gotta have some quickness about you. Be able to get down. One thing that they do have, I think, that is a little bit of an advantage is your tall catcher. Obviously, he's going to have some longer arms, and perhaps that will save a pass ball or a wild pitch at times, being able to reach a little further, especially if you're setting up off the plate one direction, having to reach way back the other.
Carlos Ruiz is the catcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. You saw Francisco Cervelli, who's a few inches shorter than Stewart, who's listed at 6'4".
Cervelli, I think, is listed at 6'1". But I think you find more guys around the 5'11" area.
Mm-hmm. Ruiz, for example, 5'10".
5'10", yeah, prototypical catcher size, I would say. Who's Russell Martin? 5-11?
Maybe. Oh, 0-1 on Howard. And that hit him. And now it's first and second. Two on with one out.
So what can happen? Just that one pitch. And now you throw a slider that just nips him in the toe. Barely hit the toe.
Sizemore has singled to right and bounced out.
A lazy fly ball to center.
Yeah, we got to keep that streak going.
Yep, and that'd be a good time for it right here.
All one. Galvis walked. A 3-2 pitch. Howard hit by a pitch with one out. Now Brady Sizemore. In the dirt, the block by Stewart.
Able to get down quickly, make that stop.
These two working together tonight, Chris Stewart and Garrett Cole, for the third time this season, and this Cole's 7th start. 1-2. Sizemore, now 32 years old, a former third-round pick of the Montreal Expos 15 years ago. Dealt to the Cleveland Indians in the Bartolo Colon deal. Still 1-2.
Both players still going.
Yep. Brandon Phillips also involved in that trade. Cliff Lee was involved in that trade. He was on the disabled list for the Phillies.
A lot of good players changing hands. Kind of wonder if Lee will pitch again.
Yeah, you wonder. Whoa. That was close. Two and two on Sizemore. And in the air. This is not an easy play by any stretch.
No, it's not.
It's going to drop in for a hit and score a run. Makes it 3-2. Brady Sizemore with 2 RBIs tonight.
Too bad that ball kicked away. There's one out, so nobody can run. Everybody has to just stand there and wait.
Actually, this should be an error.
If that ball doesn't get kicked away,
yeah,
they don't score a run. Galvis can't run until he sees it hit the grass. And you see right there, he was stopping at third base until he got the windmill. The ball was kicked.
It really should be an error on Starling Marte.
He started slowing down. He was coming to a stop at third.
Surge.
one of those where I think, Greg, is if you're not going to try and catch it on in the air, then pull up and make sure you get it on a bounce.
Right.
Don't do either one. And that's kind of the spot Marte found himself in. He didn't really try and catch it, but was too close to make an easy play on the hop.
Swing and a miss by Herrera. He has struck out twice. One ball and one strike. Herrera leads the team, having struck out 31 times. Cole looking for one here. And it's 1-2.
That one at 97. Cole still has this good fastball velocity wise right now. And this is where he really needs it. He's trying to make some kind of a run here. Shut this inning down.
Struck him out looking. That's the exact same, almost the exact same pitch he thought he had gotten Galvis on.
Pretty much the same spot. That time he got the call. Here it is. See that inside edge? He put it right on it. And this time he gets the strike 3 call. Big one.
Well, for the time being, that's an earned run, but they might review that, and it'd be nice if Cole can get Ashe. And he will. And that'll end it. So 1 run in, and the Pirates' lead is 1. move from Kid Runner coming to stage AE May 28th. Pirates on the move from Pittsburgh to Philly and on to Chicago this weekend in the first of 4 tonight against their cross-state rivals. Here's Jake Diekman. His numbers, ERA of 7.71.
He only has 11 2/3 innings. You can drop it in a hurry if you can string together a few good outings. Cole was thinking about trying to bunt there. You could see his eyes. He was looking over, looking at Howard real quick, seeing where he was playing. What's he looking at now?
Ball got away, I think, from a fan.
Oh.
I guess Nick Leyva didn't toss it to a fan. He tossed it toward the dugout. And there goes Cole. Diekman takes care of Garrett Cole. Nick Leyva, former Philly manager here. He was the skipper parts of the 89, 90, 91 season. He replaced Lee Elia. Larry Boa, former Philly skipper and great Philly shortstop. There was Jim Fregosi, the late Jim Fregosi, who replaced Nick Leyva in 1991. And some great Phillies there.
Right next to lefty.
You still get the
powder blue
Carlton
uniform right down in front of us.
A road powder blue uniform.
Yeah, powder blue uniform that he didn't wear in spring training. Favorite memories.
There's a shot and off the glove of Ashe. See how they rule it. Ashe has 4 errors. That was hard
pretty
hit.
hard, yeah. I
should be an error. It should be a hit.
Head on this. Went to his backhand too. It's not like it's to his legs or anything.
So a base hit for Gregory Polanco. He's on base for the 2nd time. Now Neil Walker. Neil Walker's been hit by a pitch, flied out and doubled off the wall in right center field. He has 2 hits in 16 at bats. That's a 125 average from this right side of the plate. Last year he hit better as a right-handed hitter average wise than he did as a lefty.
Yeah, the year before it had really become a problem. There's even rumblings about whether he could continue to be a switch hitter, and then last year he put an end to that talk. Hit very well as a right-hander. It'll be a pickoff throw to first, and then he's going to try and steal. This will be a pickoff throw. I wouldn't get a very good jump, would I? See, you can look at on Polanco's face. You can see in his eyes. He was thinking, I thought he was coming over. And now we're gonna cheat. We're gonna look at the signs.
Well, 3-2 now on Walker. Again, the Pirates have a base runner.
I guess Diekman doesn't have a very good move. When you're a left-hander and you have one of the best base stealers in the league over at first, and you don't throw over, you're hiding something.
Maybe a little John Lester in him.
Either that or he has a phenomenal move.
He's just waiting.
Yeah.
There goes Polanco, and it's popped out of play.
Horrible jump. And it was fouled off. And he did not move until Diekman's foot was almost in the ground.
Just did get a piece of that one. Neil Walker, who's been only since day one, I have to say, the most consistent. He's not only now, really, the last several ball games, starting to drive the ball toward the gaps, but he's been pretty consistent all year long. And there goes the runner again, but it's ball 4. The ball sails into center field.
Well, as a catcher, you got to kind of feel like a dummy right now, don't you?
You'd think. You don't see that very often.
Like you're thinking, why did I do that?
Phillies, who did a great job last year defensively, not so much this season. We're going to have a pitching change. We'll be back. Bucks looking to get some insurance here. Ball 4 for Neil Walker, moving Polanco to second when he unloaded a throw. Well, Luis Garcia takes over for the Phillies.
Garcia's numbers not too bad. The excellent ERA, but the opponent batting average is always a good thing to look at for those relievers. Just .259. Isn't awesome, but it's not bad either. Get that man home. Nice block there, and ball that hit out in front of home plate.
Game in September here last year, Luis Garcia. Pitch got away from him, and he almost nailed McCutchen in the head. long after McCutchen came off the disabled list. This is what occurred September of last year. September 11th. Look at this.
Right at us.
He sings, God Bless America.
One ball, one strike. And a line drive toward left field. Polanco will tag, and here comes the throw from Revere. It won't be close. So McCutchen gets a sacrifice fly, an insurance run to make it 4-2. On the play, Walker tags and moves up.
From 200 feet, that's sac fly. Nice job.
Own a piece of the game with the Pirates Authentic Merchandise Collection. You can add Andrew McCutchen's game-used bat or Starling Marte's game-used jersey to your personal collection, along with game-used lineup cards, helmets, bases, and more from all your favorite Pirates players. To get your authentic Pirates merchandise, stop by the Hunt Auction booth next time you're at PNC Park, or visit pirates.com/auctions.
All kinds of great gear. But Polanco makes it easy for you to get that sac fly in, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
I mean, that is a very shallow fly ball, and he scores with just as easy as could be. Important run. Finally added one on. Say we got one back. Bones wants to know why he ripped his pants. Gonna have to get some of that merchandise. Did I get authentic pants?
Probably. Get everything. That's been the big hit of the game so far. The Marte home run erased a 1-0 Phillies lead. It came in the third inning. There were 2 outs. It was a 1-2 count. Fouled off a couple of other pitches. One pitch that hit the knob of the bat. Polanco has scored 2 runs now. He was aboard when Marte went deep in the third.
Garcia to throw one in the strike zone here. This is one of those, I'm not going to throw a strike at bats.
There you see it. 2-2, and he hasn't thrown a strike.
One in the box.
Dribbler. Marte racing toward first. He'll be retired. Pirates add 1. 7th inning stretch here. Pirates lead 4-2. inning. Garrett Cole. We have a Point Park University tweet. Could Cole's control problems have anything to do with the pitcher's mound?
Absolutely. I mean, that's one of the things that, you know, leads to messing up your mechanics a little bit. If you're not happy with the area right in front of the rubber or where that plant foot is landing, it can definitely throw you off. I think where your plant foot lands is even more important. After this pitch, the reason for that is because you can really do a lot about in front of the rubber. You know, you can go out there and dig any kind of little trench you want for your foot to slide out of.
Toward McCutchen.
But where your foot is landing, there's two of you out there, and in this case, there's been four of you out there because they've had three different guys. So everybody puts their foot down in a little different spot. And with the cleats, they'll dig a little hole here or there, and sometimes where you're bringing your foot down is on a little bit of an angle because someone has dug a hole just maybe a little bit to the right of where you like to land, and that can really bother you. And you can go up there and you can try to dig down to their spot, but that might not be easy to do depending on the way the mound is constructed. The clay, you know, is it real damp, real wet? Is it dry where you can dig it out? I think the consistencies, at least it looks like, looking at them from afar, the consistencies of the mounds around the league are much better. It looks like they're all the same.
They're going to make up for McCutchen not getting a putout in the 6th inning by giving him back-to-back putouts here in the 7th. Cesar Hernandez, the pinch hitter, flies out. McCutchen had a putout in each of the first 5 innings. Didn't have one in the 6th, but gets back-to-back here in the 7th.
I think that's one of the differences. It doesn't get people don't really talk about too much when we talk about 20 years ago as opposed to now with all the new stadiums, especially in the National League. A lot of the circular multi-purpose stadiums, the mounds were built on a little platform, and a lot of times would get moved a lot. If it was, you know, that time of year where the football team was having to practice or play their games there, and so sometimes the mound wasn't as high a quality as it should be in those multi-purpose type stadiums. Now the mound never leaves; it's out there, and they're in really good shape all the time.
Seeing I single for Ben Revere.
His reactions. See him saying something to Stewart right away. I mean, he's thinking, talking, playing hard. See how hard he was running the first base on that ball. He wants those out so bad.
I wonder what he said there to Stewart. Could he like right away looked at him, Bob? Would a pitcher do that to a catcher? Like that was a good pitch. That we got the ground ball. Kind of thing.
Oh yeah. You could say, you know, that was a good call. That's on me. Maybe I didn't hit the spot. Something like that. You know, you're always, you know, have something going with the catcher as far as you should anyway. You're not talking to your catcher. Then that's not a good sign.
There goes Revere. And it's popped up. Walker. That'll do it. Phillies leave 1. 7 complete for Garrett Cole. mound, he can be a game changer.
Well, he certainly can. And even on a night where you can see that he's not being perfect with everything, there's been a lot of times where you can tell he's not throwing the ball exactly where he wants to. He still has that combination of stuff and that competitiveness that he's still out there giving up just 2 runs and doing a great job. It's just so much fun for me to watch him pitch every 5th day. I love it when he goes out on the mound. And you can tell that his bosses love it too. Great. Big smile that time.
Yeah. 7 strong innings for Garrett Cole. He allows 6 hits. Two runs. Really, it should be 1 earned. We're trying to talk to the official score. It's ridiculous that he gave him an earned run.
Well, it comes down to this for me. If Marte hadn't have
booted the ball,
kicked the ball off to the side, then Ruiz was
boy, heck of a play there. Did he make the catch? He did.
Oh, great catch.
Pedro Alvarez robbed of a hit by Herrera. Fabulous play.
The Galvis doesn't score on that play. That's what it comes down to.
Right. If the ball's not kicked,
Galvis doesn't score.
Right.
Here's the replay of that really beautiful catch, as you said. Maybe a little bit of a late break, but committed with that head first dive. And he just slides the glove right under the baseballs as it's about to hit the grass.
Great look from the Allegheny Health Network Super Mo. Elvis is going to leave the building. Arrojo face 1 batter. We're going to go to a break and come right back. Pirates look to add on in the 8th. Rojo pitched to 1 batter. Jeanmar Gomez, the former Pirate, will be coming on now. Facing Jung Ho Kang. We've gotten a lot of tweets. I'll tell you about in just a moment. So Gomez comes on. Who's the guy in the red polo with radar gun behind home plate?
He's the guy that checks bat speeds, Greg. It's the bat speed gun.
There you have it.
No, not really.
Oh.
You didn't even question that, huh?
No.
That's for some reason here they want to use the old-fashioned radar gun to put their speeds up on the scoreboard. So that's like using a flip phone instead of a smartphone.
See Steve Blass.
That's a little old school right there. But the radar readings that they put up on the scoreboard here in the stadium actually come from a radar gun.
Well, I wonder why they're doing that there.
Well, I don't know. Why does Steve use a flip phone instead of a smartphone? It reminds me of
he trusts it.
Reminds me of watching a game at Dodger Stadium 30 years ago. Remember the guy that used to stand back there all the time?
Yep.
Jim Marr's numbers. Up like they normally are.
Takes care of Jung Ho Kang.
Why do you think they do that? They use the radar gun.
That's why I asked you. I have no idea.
Pitch effects.
I don't know.
I thought you would know something about the Philly stuff. You know, you were raised not too far from here.
And you pitched for them. So we're at a stalemate here.
Well, when I pitched here,
there was a guy.
There was a guy.
Yeah.
There actually would be a couple of guys up there in the scout section with those guns. But there was no readings. You could never see how hard anybody was throwing. It was always just a number in a notebook somewhere. There's those notebooks.
Mercer pops this one up. Shortstop Galvis going to make the catch. Jeanmar Gomez gets 2 outs in the 8th. Pitched for the Phillies last year. Sean O'Sullivan comes off the disabled list and makes the start for the Phillies. Then Wednesday night, Francisco Liriano against Cole Hamels, a couple of tough lefties. Thursday afternoon, another former Philly, Vance Worley, against, well, former Red and a veteran Aaron Harang on the mound for Philadelphia. A.J. Burnett in the middle. Sean Rodriguez takes over at first base. New pitcher is Jared Hughes.
I see Jared's numbers on the year pretty good. The only thing that is kind of messed up a little bit, the opponent batting average. Giving up a few too many hits. One thing for sure, the strikeout walk ratio outstanding right now, 16-2.
There's strike one. You might be wondering about Tony Watson. He is not available tonight, according to Clint Hurdle. Talking to him before the game, said Watson, the only guy we won't use, Melanson, will be available.
Oh, buzzed the tower on that one. You know, if you're a left-handed hitter too, you're not looking for that from a sinker baller. It's really catching you by surprise. You're thinking about having to kind of lean out there to go after that fastball that's supposed to be tailing away from you. You get one up there, get your attention.
Still 1-2 on Utley. Utley has walked, struck out, and popped up. Now 36 years old and 6-time All-Star. Two and two on Utley. Only other National League second baseman to draw more All-Star starts than Chase Utley, Ryan Sandberg, and another former Hall of Famer, Joe Morgan. And a base hit the other way.
Utley really doesn't look any different, does he?
Oh.
So how's he not got any hits? I don't get it. A little defensive swing. He pokes it out there for the base knock.
Ryan Howard now. Again, we'll repeat, it would be nice to have Tony Watson tonight with all these left-handed hitters, especially Utley and Howard. In the middle of this lineup, Grady Sizemore on deck, but Watson not available tonight. 0-2. Howard against Garrett Cole. 1 for 2, and he was hit by a pitch.
Howard's trying to pull those sinkers down and away. If he continues to do that, I mean, that's great. He's going to hit a ground ball to somebody over on that right side, hopefully for a double play.
It's Tony Watson. The night off for him. And Hughes gets a strikeout.
He went breaking ball on him. I think that was a off-speed pitch. Put it off the plate, down and in. So the swing right over. There's those strikeouts. I mean, Hughes was turning into more of a strikeout guy than ground ball. Is it 17 now in the year?
I think so. 17 punch outs.
There we go.
There's one. There's two. Jared Hughes pitches a scoreless bottom of the 8th. On to the 9th we go in Philly. Pirates up 4-2. 4th inning. Andrew McCutchen, as we said earlier, last few days, playful. Feeling his old self again. Hoping to do that in a few moments, but first maybe add on here.
Yeah, we can't get ahead of ourselves. Time for flag waving here in a little bit. Does that bother you, Greg, when they do that before you tell them to?
No.
They're not waiting. They're going to wait for the to go ahead, don't they?
Well, but they can do that.
I don't know.
They're excited.
I'll wait till you tell them. We'll get to that a little bit later. I mean, that's got to bother you a little bit. You see him waving the flag. You haven't said anything yet.
You know, Bob, now that you say it,
it is bothering
you,
isn't it? Yeah.
It does. It bothers me greatly.
All right. Well, I'm going to keep my eye on that guy down there. If he looks
but
up here,
what are you going to do during the game?
Down.
That's what they want to do. It's part of the fun. You know, the reason I don't say it until the last out, it's a superstition. You know that?
It's
baseball
like,
people are superstitious.
Yeah.
You don't want to count your chickens yet.
Oh.
And there's a base hit for Stewart.
It's like talking about a no-hitter.
Exactly. Yeah, you wouldn't talk about a no-hitter during a no-hitter, would you? On the air?
Not at all.
Let me ask you this: if you were producing a game,
I would never do that.
If you were producing a game in the truck, would you have the announcers talk about it?
Well, I guess I
mean, that's your job.
I'm a little odd about that. Most announcers that I know, they encourage it, I guess. Or excuse me, producers.
Yeah, most producers do. Most announcers discourage it.
Yeah.
But when your boss tells you,
talk about this.
You got to do it. Yeah. And who takes the blame for it, by the way? Not the producer. There's a foul ball out of play.
Are you talking about any particular moment lately?
Lately? Oh, I don't know. Has anybody flirted with a no-hitter lately for the Pirates?
Well, we're not going to say anything about that flag until it's time.
You didn't come to think of it.
Francisco
did
have
recently
one.
have a no going for?
Well, you know why I remember that is because I think we showed him.
That's what it was.
Yeah, throwing a no-hitter.
6-3. Double play, 2 outs. Francisco Liriano will get another shot. Hopefully no one will jinx him next time out. We actually seriously don't believe. We're kidding. We don't believe it. Oh,
I believe it.
You believe that
jinxes?
That we in the booth jinxed him?
Mm-hmm.
To start against the Cardinals in St. Louis on May the 2nd, he went 5 hitless innings. And going into the 6th, we showed a video of his no-hitter.
Yeah. And then what happened the moments later?
A base hit.
Yeah, like the next pitch. Knew it was going to happen.
We'll see Francisco Liriano pitch on Wednesday night. One ball, one strike on Gregory Polanco. Couple of runs scored tonight. Pirates with 6 hits. The Reds lead Atlanta. Top of the 4th inning, 1-0. It's Shelby Miller for the Braves against Mike Leake. Brewers have a 7-5 lead over the Cubs. And that game in Milwaukee is in the bottom of the 7th. mentioned earlier, the Cardinals will play tomorrow night against Cleveland, so the Pirates can cut a half game off that lead and move to within 6.5. Pirates started the day just a half game back at the second place Cubs in the Central. Brewers lead the White Sox 7-5. Cubs lead the Mets 4-1. There's a base hit for Gregory Polanco. Well, the Pirates certainly know Jeanmar Gomez, having spent 2 previous years with the Bucks. In terms of how quick he is to the plate.
He was I think an important part of the team in the 2 years he was there.
Yep.
He served a nice role. Utility pitcher.
Yeah, any role.
Didn't seem to make much difference when he went out there. Whether it was just a few times he had to make starts, pitching in the long man role. And a few times where he was pitching later in the ball game with a lead, he always threw strikes. And if he was going to get beat, the other team had to do it with the bats. Every good team needs somebody like him on the staff. He'll do that kind of stuff.
Last 24 games last year, Gomez had a 2.17 ERA. Finished with a 3.19 earned run average and 44 appearances with the Pirates last year. Signed with the Phillies as a minor league free agent in January. Walker obviously in take mode those first 2 pitches, had no intention of swinging.
Well, he wants an RBI, so he's going to give Polanco every chance he can to steal second. That would be what I would think.
So if he's not swinging on the first pitch or the second pitch, you wouldn't think he'd be swinging on 2-0. But he is.
And an off-speed pitch, breaking ball. There's a reason for that. I think it's a little outdated, but going along with what we were talking about earlier about 3-2 fastballs. Normally you don't steal on 2-0 because that's a great fastball count. So you let the hitter go ahead and take a shot at hitting one hard, maybe driving it into a gap or over the fence.
Did you say that? You say that's a little outdated?
Yeah, because now it's just like 3-2. How many guys throw fastballs?
Well, that's what it used to be.
Yeah. You know, 2-0 was
right.
a fastball count.
Right.
I'd say 80% of the time you're going to get a fastball on 2-0. So, heck, let that hitter, swing from his heels. See what he can do with it. Like that's a little old-fashioned thinking, but that's the way it was.
3-1 Polanco goes, and it's fouled out of play. Full count with 2 down. Rick Sofield, Pirates third base coach. Walker would like to get McCutchen to the plate. Phillies have a right-hander loosening in their bullpen. And toward left. And Revere makes the catch. So Mark Melancon is going to come on for the 3rd straight game and try and earn his 3rd straight save. Continue this 4-game set from Philly tomorrow. AJ Burnett will take them out for the Buccos. Coverage starts at 6:30 with Pirates pregame. Presented by WB Mason here on Root Sports. AJ Burnett. And there is Mark Melancon, who was efficient enough last couple ball games that Clint Hurdle doesn't like to do too often. Have his relievers go 3 straight games, but Melancon's going to try and earn his 8th save of the season.
Well, Melancon's been showing a little uptick in the velocity and some great command, and that basically is Mark. When he's got that real good command and he's pinpointing that cutter, that's when he's almost unhittable. What happens is you just can't get the head of the bat on the ball real well. He's always getting inside, getting it in on the label to the left. He's running it out toward the end of the bat on the right-hand hitters.
And the first pitch strike. Fastball at 90. Two.
Cutter.
Tweet here. Jim Rooker just called it, asked you guys to cool it. Who could forget that one?
Yeah, there was a. See, not that I'm blaming Rook, but he jinxed me that night.
That's right. Bob was on the mound for the Pirates
here in Philadelphia.
It was at the Veterans Stadium, and this was it. Let's listen.
Bob Walk has been staked to a 10-run lead. Ground ball fair down the third baseline. Bonilla could not get there. Rolls into the corner. Bonds fields it. Reddy's on his way to second. Reddy with another double.
Well, I'll tell you something right now. If we lose this game, I'll walk back to Pittsburgh.
A man of his word.
And the jinx was on right there.
June 8th, 1989.
You could have bet we were going to lose. By the way, I was staked to a 10-run lead. I knocked 2 of those in myself.
Thank you very much.
They gave me 8 runs.
That's right. Don't give the offense too much credit.
Yeah, exactly. It was the only time in my career where they made a pitching change to bring someone in to pitch to me.
Wow.
Really?
How about that?
Unusual.
Well, you had already knocked in a couple runs. Oh.
No,
that hurt.
That was before the first at bat.
First at bat?
Yeah. It was, in fact, it was Larry McWilliams.
Really?
They pulled him after 8 hitters. After 8 hitters, they took Larry out.
The ball that was fouled off the foot. So Larry McWilliams, the former Brave, former Pirate, is pitching for the Phillies, and they pull him before he pitches to you.
He wouldn't let him pitch to me. Figure that out. And you remember Larry?
Yeah.
How easygoing he was. I mean,
yeah,
he was actually so mad on the mound when they came to take him out. The first time I saw him ever react to a manager or anything.
Well, this is nothing personal, but who could blame him? I mean,
not
you or any other pitcher
I
for that matter.
Yeah.
Who was managing that day?
I don't know.
That wouldn't have been.
Might have been Nick.
I was going to say, was that Nick Leyva?
Could have been.
That's a drive to right. And gone. On an 0-2 pitch, Odubel Herrera hits the home run to make it a 1-run game.
And this ball
is Herrera's first big league homer.
Not a strike. It was actually down and in off the plate. And they're talking earlier about how lefties liked it down there because they can just drop the head like a golf swing almost. That big leg kick.
How about this for your first major league homer? 0-2 pitch, you go down and get it and get your club to within 1 in the 9th. Now Cody Ashe. She's happy, he looks happy, and he's happy. ball and 1 strike.
Well, I'm not happy. Hope bringing up that 10-run game didn't jinx us for tonight.
Yeah, really. And here's McCutchen. Another put out.
And busy.
It's 8. All but 2 innings. Has McCutchen been involved? Dubel Herrera, his first major league home run. Makes it a 4-3 game, but Hansen gets the next man.
They're going to negotiate for the baseball, it looks like.
They asked, but they need to do more than just ask for the baseball. They're going to have to pick up some items, some souvenirs.
What would you ask for, Greg? If you had that ball right there, this circumstance, just another one, maybe with a signature or something.
Do you have any stuff from the days of 1980? I could get a Bob walk.
Yeah, from the 10-run game.
Wow, there's a base hit for Carlos Ruiz. And all of a sudden, not only is the tying run on here in the bottom of the ninth, but now the potential winning run in the person of Darren Ruff comes to the plate.
Not a real good location for that cutter, up out over the plate.
Clint Hurdle's going to get on the phone to the bullpen, or at least try to.
Yep. Kind of like the flower garden here, and not really a bullpen. More flowers in this bullpen than most stadiums.
There's Darren Ruff, and this is all of a sudden a 1-run game.
He did double play ball.
All 1.
Caminero.
Looks like it. Two and 0. Jimenez Caminero. Problem is, with a runner at first and 1 out, by the time he's ready, you wonder where the game's going to be. This has happened rather quickly. A home run, 1 out later, base hit. Foul ball, 2-1. Boy, a ground ball here to an infielder would be so nice. Get 2 and get out of here. Two and 1 on Darren Ruff. In the air to right. Polanco playing way back, but he has plenty of time to get in. He thought about gunning it to first and then thinks better of that.
With that tying run up out there at second base, he has to play very deep and make sure nothing gets through into a gap. So that made that play a little more difficult because he was playing back deep for no doubles. And now with 2 outs, he'll move back there again.
And here is Ben Revere. Ben Revere 1 for 4. And a fly ball to center field. How appropriate this will be. Now you can raise the Jolly Roger in Philly. A busy Andrew McCutchen in center field. The Phillies made it interesting as Herrera hit the home run. Then they had Ruiz on with 1 out. But Mark Melancon gets the job done.
I was hoping it would be a little easier tonight than it was. 4-3, 1-run ball game. But it doesn't matter what the matchup on paper shows, what the numbers are. In the major leagues, anything can happen on any night. Marte did come up with that big hit, though. And Cole did pitch a pretty darn good ball game. But Phillies were right there to the end. Got to feel fortunate this one's over.
We'll be back here in just a moment, but first we head back to Pittsburgh studios of Robin Teague.